What's up, YouTube? This is Swide from Reddit Troopers, and I am here today with Rob, also known as Rxckstar from Clan Halo. Rob, how's it going, man?
It's going pretty well. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Thanks for coming on and talking to us. Rob and I we've kind of had an ongoing discussion about triple golem GoHo, how it's constantly used now in higher war clans and elite war matchups, how it's the cleanup attack that's preferred by most players, because once you know where double giant bombs are, once you know where Teslas and spring traps and those kinds of things are, pretty much everybody knows how to path around them, how to account for those things, and then to, shatter or bring 3 golems for the queen and, do the rest with the GoHo.
Yeah.
But Rob, you've been using another strategy that you have convinced me is potentially the superior strategy. So do you just give us a brief intro about it?
Sure. Well, I have opted to remove one of the golems from the 3 golem. So still only bring a shattered, but I'll sub in a different tank. I've been bringing 4 Valks instead. It actually, and I'm not going to pretend I'm the first person to ever try something like that.
Right.
I've never seen it, but I'm not going to pretend that I'm the first. Yeah.
It's not the first time I saw it. I think you did it, but I've seen it other, 3 Valks, maybe 2 Valks in addition instead of a couple hogs. But I don't often see the 4 Valks in exchange for a golem, and it's almost a perfect exchange. It's a 1 bomber difference, basically.
Well, it actually came from my idea for it anyway. Came from a war we were having against Reddit Tau, and I was actually helping one of my clanmates prepare for one of his attacks, and he loves using Valks. That's his truth. That's anything. To a fault, honestly. But he had this army cooked up, and he was actually at my house. He was talking about his plan on this attack, and he had like 8 Valks cooked, and he was going to go in with this strange attack with the back end hogs and loons and stuff. And I was like, well, first of all, you don't need the Valks at all. It's they're just taking up troop space, and you don't need them. But I was like, you know what? I actually don't hate the idea. Instead of bringing a 3rd golem, let's try just swapping that for 4 Valks, and it's about the same. I mean, it costs 2 extra troop space, but I did the math on it a little bit, and I realized, you're only losing 1,200 hit points, but what you're gaining is, some speed that you're moving through the base, and honestly, the Valks, they shred the Royals. That's pretty much where it is.
That aggro is huge, and the DPS is significantly more than a golem, especially under Rage. 4 Valks, I think you said this just the first time I saw one of these attacks. 4 Valks will take out 2 defensive Royals under Rage in just a matter of
1
seconds,
swing maybe.
Which is, it's incredible to watch.
Yeah. And
it actually gives you some leeway, because if with the new hero AI being what it is, there's a greater chance that one of your heroes, if you're not careful, is going to take a walk around the base following a line of trash somewhere. The
definitely.
Valks kind of negate the possibility of a raid being blown up by one of your heroes going the wrong way, the AQ doing what she does best, and I don't know, taking the long way around, whatever it is.
She likes to do that.
She does.
Especially mine.
You've got one of the special AQs.
Oh, for sure.
Pre-update. I have the replay here of you attacking Reddit Tau's #1 player, the Town Hall 9 we were talking about earlier, and this was a cleanup attack. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
That was the friend that attacked, and
actually no, this was a different attacker. This was actually Town Hall 10. That's not in our clan anymore. He actually just went at it with a go wipe, and he was good enough. It was good enough to show me a few traps, but he's didn't get the job done.
And you were telling me, and I'm just going to draw it here for the viewers, that you assumed there was a double giant bomb in the center.
I knew there was.
Yes. Okay. And then, did you know the location of the other 2 bombs?
Interestingly enough, the original attacked from the bottom left.
Okay.
Just a big old go wipe, and for some reason his troops bypass there's actually a bomb down there, right by the Wizard Tower in the Expo, and his troops just walked right around this bomb. He had witches and everything, didn't want to trigger it at all. So he uncovered all the other traps for me, and somehow the place where he attacked from, I never saw that bomb. So I knew 3 of them. And interestingly enough, my plan was to heal where that bomb was anyway, so that actually worked out really well for me.
Works out okay. And then, so the double was in the center, and then the other single was over by the queen, wasn't it? It was.
Yeah.
And we'll see it here in the replay. I'm going to play this just so these guys can actually get a glimpse of the power of the extra Valkyries.
Yeah, and I saw it, and I just wanted to try a queen walk on this one because I just thought it looked great for it.
And this is, I'll let everybody know, this is just after the update. This is the first war. The update came out. I think Halo was in a war at that point, and they finished, and this is the immediate war. So you're going to see an old school CC come out, but this is the first queen walk with the new AI, really. So Rob's already making wave.
Yeah, I wanted to try it.
Tesla pops there. I mean, you see, so he makes his funnel on either side. Golems in. They redirect toward the Tesla. Bombers go down. Those golems are going to head in towards the wizard tower. Queen heads in, which is great.
Yep.
Jump spell goes down, and here comes the CC. It's a witch, wizards, and archers. So it's an old school CC, so he's going to wreck that no problem. He brought a rage for it anyway, so he's going to end up just dropping that right here. And look at those Valks. They are just going to waltz right in on that queen, even before the BK gets there, and they take care of her. Rob uses his BK ability, that Iron Fist ability. I don't think maybe even realizing the Valks got in there so quickly and just shredded the enemy AQ.
Yeah, they moved pretty quick.
It was pretty cool. You had 3 left then that went on to the enemy Barbarian King and your BK, and the other one had a showdown a bit there. Valks were gone at that point, but you're basically trading 1 golem for a guaranteed kill of both enemy royals if they're within, the jump spell diameter.
If they're close enough to each other.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, I mean, that's huge. Usually you're losing a golem through tanking, at least 1 golem to the royals anyway.
Oh, yeah.
The queen just sits back and finishes one off. Luckily, with this one, you had just an old school CC, so that wasn't a problem, but generally speaking, you're going to lose a golem to some loons or whatever anyway, so to have a unit that's fast enough that can potentially avoid, a loon drop or something else, and to move in and take care of those heroes instead of just blowing up and not doing much damage, it's pretty big. It's a pretty big thing. Let me throw the other replay up here for us. This is... Rob had me over just yesterday, I think, and had me record this replay. Halo's facing off against Assam Knights. I assume that's how you say it. I'm not actually sure.
Something like that.
Assam, close enough. Yeah. And this is a first attack. So walk us through just briefly what your plan was.
Well, so I looked at it, and really, you could see the only 2 double bomb threats are... I mean, I guess you could say there's one potential next to the air defense by the elixir storage, but really the only viable double bombs are going to be between the Expo and the Sweeper, and the other one's going to be up at 1 o'clock by that other Expo. So looking at the base, on the way to the Queen, I can eliminate the left Expo. I can take out the north air defense, and now any direction I send my hogs from, they have no reason to ever path over those double bombs. So that was kind of my thought going in is, I can get in there 1 jump spell, especially thanks to Swide's new video. I can easily clear that with 1 jump spell, really open up the base. It'll let me into both royals, especially because they have that awkward center compartment where the queen's standing. Which actually works against him, because once the Valks get in to kill the queen, the king's going to aggro onto them and just get melted. So,
and one thing I want to say, for those of you listening, do not put your queen in the center anymore. You need to separate your queen from your...
Everything,
first of all, from your giant bomb spots. Yeah, from anything that's important to the raid. She's the one thing that's very important as a defender against every kind of attack. And the other things should be over on the other side, basically. So you want to have your double giant bomb spots, your air defenses, all that stuff away from the queen. current base design will tell you that's kind of the best way to avoid a 3-star on a first attempt before they know locations and whatnot. So this guy has left himself very susceptible to some kind of shatter or triple hog in some way because he has this double giant bomb so close to his queen, as well as other high value things like expos and that thing. So
yeah,
I'm going to play this. We'll clear that off and then give this a go here. So he's coming from the northwest, 2 golems. Again, he's just bringing 2, and he's going to bring those 4 Valkyries. Just wizards to break the funnel on either side. Bombers go down. They're going to let the golems in. And he's going to be really patient here, and wisely so, with his king and his Valkyries. He's waiting for this dark barracks to go down, and he's actually going to get this army camp down as well. So as soon as that drops, I'll zoom in. King goes down, Valkyries go down. Enemy AQ, you can see locked onto his golem there. But he actually had, I'm going to pause this for a second. He had a golem in his CC, didn't he?
Yeah, that was, that caught me a little off guard.
That's a nice troll.
These guys were using heavy CCs, so it wasn't,
yeah.
It didn't, I don't know, I guess I wasn't that surprised to see it, but it's still, it's shocking anytime you see that on a first attack.
It's one of those, and you can expect those kind of CCs more and more now. I'm actually going to rewind, so you can see that golem coming out. I wasn't paying close enough attention last time, obviously. Jump spell has already gone down. He's going to drop a rage right after those rage goes down.
Yeah.
And this golem's just going to bang on his golems, but those Valks under rage take out at least 2/3 of its health with their first swipe. They shred it and its golemites with their next swipes. Obviously, he's got his heroes targeting them as well, but as soon as it goes down, those Valks head in right onto the enemy Archer Queen. They take her out. He's still got 2 up at this point. They trip both Skelly traps, and it's game over. This giant bomb is no longer relevant because this air defense has gone down. This one got tripped by the Valks in the Barbarian King, so when he drops his hogs up here in the northeast, it's game over. He's absolutely tripping only one at a time here, and had a heal spell waiting on him. No problem at all. He uses a giant just to tank for those hogs as he's dropping them, which is great. Just making sure that the hogs reach their target before one of them dies, which is the right choice. Trips another Skelly trap here. And actually, Rob, I wish you would have used your poison spell here.
I thought about it.
You'd beat the base, so I see why you didn't.
it was unnecessary. There was like 1 defense and like 6 hogs.
Yeah, right.
My queen was there was no point.
And you can see him. He dropped a wizard down here. Minion. He dropped another wizard up top, and it's just clean up from there.
Yeah.
Beautiful attack, man.
Thanks. Yeah, I actually had planned on using my rage spell a little bit deeper in the base. But when I saw that golem, I realized, I thought if I can get my king, my Valks under rage, get my queen to walk up into the rage, they'll get through that golem before anything's ever, before the base has a chance to beat up on them. And it ended up working out.
And they really, the Valks just destroy it. And if you guys are wondering, so the Valks had 1 swing on that golem. They get it down to, it can't be at more than an 1/8 of its health at that point. But they're going to swing again. And that's not because they're not taking this jump spell. This jump spell is fine. They're taking the other units. His golems took it. His king's going to take it. It's no problem. They're just already spinning with their second attack while the enemy golem is moving away because it's already aggroed onto his main golems. So he ends up shredding those middle walls. And that's not because they had to kill them. That's just because they were already in their attack, for those of you who are going to be skeptical about my jump spell.
Love the splash on the Valks, though. It's great.
It's amazing. Yeah. I mean, that whole circle, they just end up taking everything near them. Skelly traps are no problem. They spin once and it's gone, and that's it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, man. Well, okay, so give us a scenario, hypothetically. When are you not bringing 4 Valkyries?
Well, generally, if I can... I'm only bringing 4 Valks if I find that I can path across, at least 1 double giant bomb on the way to a queen, and I need a really, especially if I have like a really long walk. That's kind of that's been my thing, my MO lately. Yeah. Is, if I see any possible scenario in which I can find a way to trip the obvious double giant bomb and
Right.
get to the queen. And even on tough bases, it's pretty obvious where they are usually. Generally speaking, it's just too hard to make 4, 5, 6 different, like, really feasible double giant bomb spots.
Right. Yeah, you're always going to count a couple out because the pathing isn't, maybe quite as perfect as a couple others.
Right. Yeah, so that's when I'm really bringing it. I mean, I still do other attacks too, so if I can
Right.
if I can get a lure and, just do a standard CC kill, or if I can, discount double giant bombs with one golem or something, or if I can loon a base, I'm still going to do it. But I think this is a very viable strategy, and a great way to, really deal with these high level royals, and really get into a base. And the thing I like about bringing the Valks versus bringing a golem is the golems don't do anything for you aside from tank. So you're counting entirely on your queen to do all the damage, basically.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen is the king is going to get aggroed onto the queen. King's going to end up running out in front of his golem tanks. So by the time your king's, by the time he gets to the queen, he's going to run out in front of the golem, and he's going to start taking damage from the base. Valks are faster than a king, so even under rage, I think the Valks will still move about the same speed. So
yeah.
What happens with them is even though I drop them last, they get out on top of the queen and the king before my royals do. So by the time I've shredded, gotten into the core, my Valks are starting to go down. The enemy heroes are down. My heroes are still usually pretty close to full health.
Yep. On both attacks, they were very nearly full health.
Yeah.
Both of them.
So that's kind of something that I've noticed is I like their speed, and since they're doing AoE damage, they're also shredding those buildings that are slowing down your queen.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have storages and things like that. The Valks are just swinging at other stuff, and they end up dealing damage to these buildings that are slowing down your queen. Whereas the only time the golem's doing that is when he blows up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, when you put it like you did earlier, you're losing 1,200 health to tank. Obviously, you're losing a little more because they're going to be affected by splash, where a golem it's one number. But if you've got 4 Valks in a pile, it's obviously going to do 4 times the damage when they get hit by splash. That aside, if you're really concerned about that extra 1,100, 1,200 health that you're losing on a golem, drop a couple hogs. Drop 2 wizards, drop a hog and some cleanup troops, and you have yourself a 5th Valk if you're interested in something like that. But I think the important thing is that they're just way more flexible. The unit itself is much more dynamic. It's not just kind of a one-trick pony, so to speak. It makes for a much cleaner kill squad based on these 2 replays. So I'll definitely be giving this a try in upcoming run, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that I would like to point out for you is, if you notice in both of my attacks, I don't know if you actually caught it, I noticed Hebrew Legends did this. I think this is where I actually got it from. I always bring, I think I almost always, if not always, bring an extra wall breaker, because I've had it, actually it's from the Hebrew Legends War, where I showed up and didn't do as well.
The True Sons.
Yeah. My first attack, I had a wall breaker fail, and that was the last wall breaker fail I have had, by the way, because now I always bring an extra. And what I do is I drop 1, I see where it's going, I make sure it gets through with no mini bombs blowing it up, and then I'll drop the rest. I don't take chances anymore because, so that's something that to keep in mind is, you're only sacrificing 2 troop space to make sure that your wall breakers are getting in. It's definitely, I think it's a good trade.
Yeah, it's absolutely a good trade.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, hey, thanks for coming on and talking to us about this strategy. It's absolutely shows promise, and I'll be interested to see how it evolves from here.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'm interested to. I'd love to see it when I see other people doing that to my base. So eventually, I think that'll happen.
All right, man. Guys, this is Rxckstar and Sweid. Rxckstar is, of course, from Halo, and if you haven't seen the Traveler series that I did on their clan, absolutely go check it out. I'll link it here in the video. But until next time, guys, this is Sweid from Reddit Troopers. You guys have a good one.